to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. Giving double honors to 7130 South Chicago that taught me this truth. And giving double honors to all the brothers and sisters that the Creator has awoken in these last days. With that being said, peace and shalom. All right, brothers and sisters, we are here today to preach the gospel, which is the destruction and the dismantling of the system, which is the Euro-Gentile world power system, right? So we're going to be coming out here week in and week out to preach the destruction and the dismantling of the system. Most of the people that's out here today, they don't really have a clue about what's going on in the affairs of men. Why there's so much wars, so much fighting around the country. You know what I'm saying? Why is it that Russia and China is going against America? Why do we have a situation over there in Ukraine, all of these situations that's going on? And now we see a lot of the stuff heating up over there in quote unquote the Middle East. And see, that's basically where a lot of this stuff is going to take place. See, a lot of this stuff is going to take place. It's really going to be global, brothers and sisters. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be global, and a lot of people, we're estimating that maybe probably about 5 billion people. I think it's about 7 or 8 billion. It's going to be about at least about 4 or 5 billion people on this planet that's going to lose their life, see? And see, a lot of us, we don't understand the events that's taking place on the world stage, what's going on the world stage, and how it's going to affect us globally, especially over here in Americas, because see, America is modern day Rome, and America is basically contributing to a lot of the things that's taking place. And we see a lot of infighting that's going on in the country, quote unquote, with the American people. The Democrats and the Republicans are at odds with each other at an all-time high. We see the workers, every time we look around, the workers is going on strike. And see, like, another thing that's taking place is a lot of these Amazon workers, they going on strike too, right? And this is how a lot of us is getting a lot of the foods and things of this nature from these different countries. So a lot of us thinking that the country is eventually is going to pick itself up, but eventually it's not. It's because every time that the Creator judge a kingdom, he has to break it down from within. So we see over here in America, and especially in the European common market system, that the system is basically imploding from within, see? So let's look at something. Let's turn to the book of Daniel. Let's turn to the book of Daniel. I think it's the 4th chapter of the book of Daniel. Because it's going to talk about, Nebuchadnezzar and the dream that Daniel had, right, concerning the Babylonian mystery system, or the Chaldean Empire, right? So let's look at this. This is the 4th chapter of the book of Daniel. Starting at the 1st verse, it says, Nebuchadnezzar, the king, unto all people, nations, and languages that dwell in all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. So this is Nebuchadnezzar, right? Nebuchadnezzar was the king of Babylon, and Nebuchadnezzar, the Creator empowered him to subdue the nations. That's why when it reads that basically he was the king over all languages, nations, and tongues, it's because he took over the nations, right? Because this is the one, the Creator is the one that put him in power. See? So it says, I thought it good to show the signs and the wonders that the high God, the high Elohim, had wrought towards me. How great are his signs and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation. Because the Creator had blessed Nebuchadnezzar. How you doing? The Creator had blessed Nebuchadnezzar to be the power over the planet. See? So when it's talking about Nebuchadnezzar having basically power over languages, nations, and tongues, he ruled the known world at that time, right? But the God that he's talking about at this time is the gods that they set up. And see, a lot of those people, they was worshiping themselves at that as gods. And one of the gods that Nebuchadnezzar and all these folks, they was worshiping who? They was worshiping Nimrod, see? They was worshiping Nimrod, right? So Nebuchadnezzar is really he's giving credence to the sun god, which is Nebuchadnezzar. And see, this is the mentality of America today. It's because America today, believe it or not, America today is worshiping the same gods that Nebuchadnezzar and the Chaldean Empire was worshiping. But see, we know Nimrod or Tammuz or Semiramis by the names of Jesus the Christ, the Lord, and things of this nature, or Mary and stuff like that. See, this is the gods that the nation or the modern day Babylonians are calling on today. See, when Donald Trump is talking about putting his foot on the other nation's neck, these are the gods that they're worshiping. See, of today, they don't call him Nebuchadnezzar. I mean, today, they don't call him Nimrod. They don't call him Tammuz. But these are the pantheons or the gods that they worship today. They just call them by different names. See, they call on the name Jesus, right? They say that Jesus was born of the Immaculate Conception, and that the Lord, which is Nimrod, impregnated Semiramis, or who you would call Mary, right? So it says, how great are his signs, and it says, how great are his signs, and how mighty are his wonders. His kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and his dominion is from generation to generation. And this is the same mentality of the Americans, right? It's because America believes that they're going to continue to be in power, that they're always going to be the foot that is going to be on the people's necks, right? So they believe that their kingdoms is from an everlasting generation, from generation to generation, everlasting, right? So it reads, it says, I Nebuchadnezzar was at rest in my house, flourishing in my palace. And I saw a dream which made me afraid, and the thoughts upon my bed and the vision of my head troubled me. Therefore made I a decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretation of the dream. It's because, see, he's having a nightmare, right? And he needs the wise man of Babylon to come in and to interpret the bad dream that he's having, right? And it says, then came in the magicians, the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And I told the dream before them, but they did not make known unto me the interpretation thereof, right? So they couldn't make known the interpretation of what was taking place, right? It's because the soothsayers, the astrologers, the procrastinators, and all these different people, they supposed to be able to interpret the events that's taking place on the world stage, but they couldn't interpret the events that's taking place on the world stage, right? You know? So it says, so basically he's bringing them in to, I kind of speed it up, so he's bringing them in to interpret what's taking place. It's because that's the job of a soothsayer. That's the job of an astrologer, right? He's seeking to the wise man that understands the earth, that understands the elements around the world, right? So it says, but at last Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belshazzar, according to the name of my Elohim, or my powers, and in whom is the spirit of the holy ones. And before him I told the dream, saying, right? Because Nebuchadnezzar, let's look at Daniel's history, right? Let's look at Daniel's history. All right, this is the book of Daniel, the first chapter. I'm going to start reading at the first verse. This is the history of our people, which is the tribe of Judah, Levi, and Benjamin. They coming into captivity under Nebuchadnezzar. See, this is really so-called black history, right? So it says, in the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Yehuda, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem, and besieged it. And Yah gave Jehoiakim, king of Yehuda, into his hand, and with parts of the vessel of the house of Elohim, which he carried into the land of Shinar, to the house of his powers, and he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his power. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes. And it says, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom and cunning and knowledge and understanding, science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans. So this is what you would call colonialism, right? So they had to get the men that was very well learned in the arts, right? Education and things of this nature. So they had to grab these people, and they had to do what? They had to reteach them and things of this nature, so that they can be able to teach the nation of Israel the tongue of the Chaldean, which is the customs and the traditions of the Chaldeans, right? So it says, and the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat and of the wine which he drank, so that nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king. And what was the food that they was giving them? It was the customs or the educational system of the Chaldeans. See? Because even though they may have, some of us may have been eating physical food of those people, but the food that they talking about really is a what? It's a spiritual food. See? It's the learning and the tongue of the Babylonian mystery system. Because the nation of Israel rebelled against the Creator. And as our punishment, we had to go into captivity under the Chaldeans, right? So let's look at this. It says, now among these were of the children of Yehuda, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names. For he gave unto Daniel the name of Belteshazzar, and to Hananiah, Shadrach, and to Mishael, Meshach, and to Azariah, Abednego, right? But why is this stuff staying? So this is what you would call colonialism. Even though that's a pretty much a new word today, but they colonizing the nation of Israel. So let's look at the book of Jeremiah, the 25th chapter. One second. I think it's the 25th chapter. One second. Let's read it and see if it is it. It says the word that came to Yirmiyahu concerning all the people of Yehuda in the first year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Yehuda. That was the first year of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, the which Yirmiyahu the prophet spake unto all the people of Yehuda and to all the inhabitants of Jerusalem for the 13th year of Josiah the son of Ammon, king of Yehuda, even unto this day, that is the 23rd year. The word of Yah have come unto me, and I have spoken unto you, rising early and speaking, but ye have not hearkened. See? So what's taking place? Why is he speaking? It's because he's speaking to the moral corruption of our ancestors. See, we want to talk about the white man. We want to talk about all these other nations, but the reason why we're in captivity is because we rebelled against the Creator. See? So when the ancestor Yirmiyahu was speaking to the nations during that, our people during that time, they didn't want to hear. See? They didn't want to listen. And that's the same mentality of our people today. That's involved in the Babylonian mystery system today, which is Christianity, Islam, Judaism, right? Hinduism, all these different false religions, right? Especially Christianity, because Christianity is the religion that colonized us, and Islam, right? So it says, from the 13th year of Josiah the son of Ammon, king of Yehuda, unto this day, that is the 23rd year, the word of Yahweh have come unto me, and I have spoken unto you, rising early and speaking, but ye have not hearkened. And Yah have sent unto you all his servants the prophets rising early and sending them. But ye have, it says, but ye have not hearkened nor inclined your ear to hear. Right? Because what was they doing with the prophets during that time? They was killing them, see? They was not hearkening. They was setting up conspiracies against them. And they was, and a lot of prophets was getting killed, right? Or they was getting banished. They had to go and hide it from our people. Because our people started to do what? To rebel against the prophets. Right? The Most High sent you. This is what they were saying. But this is the mentality of our people today. See? When we start telling our people who they are from a nationalistic standpoint of view, our people don't want to hear that. See? They don't want to hear who they are. They don't want to hear who their God is. See? All they know is Jesus. But the reason why they know this is because the Creator has done what? He has destroyed our people. See? And He has put us in a certain type of mentality. See? We're not just slaves physically. We don't have physical chains on us anymore. The chain that we have on us today is mental. See? It's because if a man today doesn't know that he descends from the nation of Israel, then what? He's in a mental slavery. See, this is where he at today with it, right? And we're just giving a backdrop of the history of our people on how they didn't want to listen to the Creator when the Creator was speaking to them through other people, right? So it says, they said, turn ye again now, every one from his evil way, and from the evil of your doings, and dwell in the land of Yah, have given unto you and to your fathers forever and ever. See, so during that time, we had a land. See, we didn't know nothing about America. So this is the prophets coming to the nation of Israel because our people was corrupt. We were serving false gods. We wanted to be just like the nations, right? Before the homosexual community, the LGBT community, see, this is what we was doing. We had become an astonishment to the Creator. We weren't listening to the Most High, right? We wanted to be just like the other nations. We wanted to be baptized in the water by these other gods because we thought that these other gods can do for us that the Creator wasn't going to do, that the Creator couldn't do. But here it is, the Creator gave us the land of milk and honey, right? He gave us some of the most fertile land, right? He took it from the other nations that wasn't doing right by the land, and He gave it to us. But what was our appreciation to the Creator? We showed our appreciation towards the Creator by doing what? By rebelling against the Creator. Setting up new worship systems, right? Being disobedient to our parents. Killing one another. This is what we do today. So when the Creator sent the prophets, the ones that had wisdom, that was speaking from the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Most High, we rebelled against that. This is why He's saying what? They said, turn ye again now, everyone from his evil way, and from the evil of his doing, and dwell in the land that Yah have given unto you and to your fathers forever and ever. So this is the Creator through the prophets doing what? Pleading with our stiff-necked self, right? To do right by the Creator, right? Don't serve these other gods. Stop killing one another. Do good to your brothers and sisters. See? But see, we didn't want to listen to that. We didn't want to listen. And this is why we over here today in what you would call a mental slavery. We were so-called free in 1865 over here in the last captivity, but now we still slaves, what? Mentally. Because what type of man will allow another man to set up an educational system in his community? And he go send his kids to the school knowing that the educational system in this country has destroyed our people. What type of man will set up a business in the neighborhood, take all the money out of the neighborhood, don't put nothing into the neighborhood, and then we go shop with these people, right? A people that's mentally slave. That's a mental slavery. See, that's who's going to do that. Politicians in the community that we know that the politicians is not going to do right by the people in the community, but we worship the politicians that someday they're going to get their act together and they're going to do right by the inhabitants of the neighborhood. The only people that do this is a people that's in some type of mental slavery. But let me hit you with something. Let's say that you are voting, right? But you don't even have enough sense to control the politicians in your community, right? To breed young children that's going to speak to the conditions of your people from birth. We don't even have no mindset to do things like that. But who's doing this? This is a people that's void of understanding, that don't have an understanding of self, right? So it says, and go not after other powers to serve them and to worship them and to provoke me to not to anger with the works of your hands, and I will do you no hurt. See? This is what he's telling us. He was pleased with our ancestors not to do this. But see, we did it anyway. It's because we had become a people of low morale. See? When you're not working from a higher consciousness, this is what you do. And even to this day, the Creator is still pleading with our ancestors, right? Not to do these things. This is what we do. We're in the month of October. We coming out of the month of October. We finna go into the month of November. Then we finna go into the month of December. And this is what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be celebrating Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a day, right, that's commemorated by the heathens, showing how they came into this country and took over the country and destroyed the native indigenous people that was already here before they got here, right? We're going to celebrate Christmas. Christmas is the worship system of the Babylonian mystery system, Tammuz, Nimrod, Semiramis. Then we're going to come out of the winter, which is the winter solstice, and we're going to come into the vernal equinox, and we're going to be celebrating, quote unquote, Easter, which is the worship system of the Queen of Heaven. See? So the same thing that the Creator was telling us back in these times, he was telling us during this time. This is just a brief history on why we're in captivity. Why is Daniel in captivity under the heathen? See, the reason why Daniel is in captivity is because we rebelled. See, and not so much that Daniel rebelled, But see, when the nation of Israel, when the leadership rebel, the Creator does what? He get all of us. See, he get all of them. But he may spare some while they in captivity. But the one that started it, they gonna live harshly. See? So it says, and go not after other powers and serve them, to worship them and provoke me to anger with the works of your hands. And I will do you no hurt. Meaning that what? I'm not going to destroy you if you do this. Yet ye have not hearkened unto me, saith Yah, that ye might provoke me to anger with the works of your hands, to your own hurt. So what is this saying? You the reason why this situation is happening. We the reason why we're in captivity. We the reason why we the tail and not the head. It's because of the sins of what? Our ancestors. So no more we can't sit around here and get mad at the so-called white man, the other nations. Our ancestors did this, see? And we're continuing in the same mindset of the ancestors, right? No, I ain't even got it. So we still doing that, even to this day. See, we still worshiping Baal and Ashtaroth, thinking that we're worshiping the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? So it says, yet ye have not hearkened unto me, saith Yah, that ye might provoke me to anger with the works of your hands to do, it says, to your own hurt. Therefore, thus saith Yah of hosts, because ye have not heard my words, behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, saith Yah. And Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant. See, why did he call Nebuchadnezzar his servant? It's because he raised Nebuchadnezzar up to do his bidding in the earth, to take the nation of Israel into slavery. That is an awesome creator, see? The creator raised up Nebuchadnezzar, which he called him his servant. To do what? To chasten the nation of Israel because of their disobedience. See, we was hard-headed. We was stiff-necked. We didn't listen to the Creator. And as a result of this, this is why we at the bottom and not at the top, see? The people don't look to us anymore for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. They look into the other nations. We're looking to the nations for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding instead of looking to the Creator. See, this is why we're at the bottom. This is why the Venezuelans, all these other people can come to our neighborhood and they can capitalize on certain things, right? And we can't capitalize off of it because we have become a laughing stock of the whole planet. See, when everybody see us, they want to be just like us, but when they look at us, we're in astonishment. See? When we play basketball, we play football, we do anything, we sell out arenas. But while we selling out arenas, we don't have our own country to go to. We don't have our own land. When we speak truth to power, the nations is not really listening to us. right? It's because we have become a vagabond in the earth, right? Let's continue. Therefore saith Yah of hosts, because ye have not heard my words, behold, I will send and take all the families of the north, saith Yahweh, and Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and will bring them against this land, and against the inhabitants thereof, and against all these nations round about, and will utterly destroy them, and make them an astonishment, and a hissing, and a perpetual desolation. See? So, now that we understand this, we can't sit around here and say, why God will put, what type of God will put our people in slavery? The God that we weren't serving. That's who put us in slavery. The God that we thumbed our nose at. The same God that said that we're going to be an astonishment to the world, that we're going to be a hissing. These nations, they come to your neighborhoods, they don't have no respect for you. They don't respect you. They take your money. They take your money and they put it into their neighborhoods. They build up their communities. And they leave you desolate. This is why the black man is in the neighborhood killing each other. See? Killing each other is because why? We don't control the resources in our neighborhoods. Our women that was considered young maidens and things of this nature, they have become what? They whores today. Because this is the cursing of the Creator for the disobedience of our ancestors. This is what you get when you don't serve the Most High. Right? Our women is running around here with blonde, purple, and red hair. Our women is disrespectful towards their men. They don't respect the man. It is the Most High says that the woman is supposed to be a helpmeet. Now she's saying, the woman is saying that she don't want to be the helpmeet no more. That the man should pay 100% of everything. See? And in the event that he's paying 100% of everything, she don't have to do what? She don't have to listen to him. He should be listening to her. That the woman should be above the man. This is why we're going through this, right? It's because we're an astonishment. We are an astonishment to our own females. Moreover, I will take from them the voice of mirth, and the voice of gladness, and the voice of bridegroom, and the voice, it says, the sound of the millstone, and the light of the candle. And this whole land shall be desolate and an astonishment, and these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. So we was in the Babylonian captivity for 70 years, brothers and sisters. Do you understand that we still in the Babylonian captivity even to this day? We're still serving out the 70 years of Daniel even to this day. Because it's spiritual now, right? Because the 70 years of Daniel today is what? The 2,000, almost 3,000 years that we have been in captivity. Because we didn't hearken unto the voice of the Most High. But now the Most High is in the process of doing what? Redeeming his people. because the curse has been lifted. It's not a coincidence that I'm out here today talking about that we are the natural and the spiritual seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Is because the Creator has done what? He has lifted the curse that has been on us for almost 3,000 years, right? And now the Creator is in the process of redeeming the people that at one point He called a desolation or a history. Right? So now the Creator is in the process of redeeming the nation of Israel. But all the nation of Israel is not going to be redeemed. See? Preaching. Okay. So even with the Creator redeeming the nation of Israel, all of our people is not going to be redeemed. Because this war that's coming is going to be what? It's going to be catastrophic. It's going to be billions of people that's going to be doing what? They're going to be destroyed, man. And most of our people don't want to hear the gospel. And what is the gospel? The gospel is the destruction and the dismantling of this system. And if we don't return back to the Creator, we're going to be destroyed. See? See, the young sister, she came up and said, what you doing? We preaching the gospel. Oh, you keep doing that. But eventually, they're going to have to hear the gospel. Whether they want to hear, whether they hear or they forbear. And if they don't listen, all we have to do is shake the dust off and keep moving. Because the people that don't want to hear the gospel, which is the nation of Israel fleeing Babylon, because Babylon is going to be destroyed. They're going to be destroyed with it. Right? So let's go back to the book of Daniel. Book of Daniel, the 4th chapter. I'm going to start reading at the 4th verse. I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at rest in my house and flourishing in my palace, and I saw a dream which made me afraid, and thought upon my bed, and the vision of my head troubled me. Therefore made I a decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretation of the dream. Like I said, Nebuchadnezzar, he had a nightmare, right? It's because the Creator was talking to Nebuchadnezzar in figurative language, couched in historical symbolism, and he was showing Nebuchadnezzar things that Nebuchadnezzar could not interpret, right? But check what Nebuchadnezzar does, right? He says, therefore made I a decree to bring in all the wise men of Babylon before me, that they might make known unto me the interpretation of the dream. So, with any king, you got what? You have wise men that's supposed to come in. They supposed to be an understanding of events that's taking place on the world stage and things that's going on in the earth, right? So it says, then came in the magicians, the astrologers, and the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers, And I told the dream before them, but they did not make known unto me the interpretation thereof. So here it is, these supposed to be the wise men, the people of some type of understanding. They come in and they tell it there. They supposed to tell him what's going on, right? But they can't tell him. It's because this interpretation or this dream is not coming from the gods of the Babylonians. It's coming from the Creator. And the only one that's going to be able to interpret the dream is Daniel, right? It says, but at last Daniel came in before me, whose name was Belteshazzar, according to the name of my powers, and in whom is the spirit of the holy powers. And before him I told the dream, saying, Belteshazzar, master of the magicians, before I know, it says, before I know that the spirit of the holy powers is in thee. So he's looking at Daniel as a prophet of the gods of the Babylonians, right? This is who he's looking at Daniel as. See, he don't recognize the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's looking at the God. He's thinking that Daniel is worshiping the gods of the Babylonians because of the book of Daniel, the first chapter. Because after 3 years, they had to stand before the king, right? So it says, Belteshazzar, master of the magicians, because I know that the spirit of the holy powers is in thee, and no secret trouble thee. Tell me the vision of my dream that I have seen, the interpretation thereof. Thus were the visions of my head and my bed. And I saw, and behold, a tree in the midst of the earth. And the height thereof was great. And the tree grew. It was strong, and the height thereof reached unto heaven, and the sight thereof to the end of all the earth. The leaves thereof were fair, and the fruit thereof was much, and in it was meat for all. And the beasts of the field had shadow under it, and the fowls of the heaven dwelt in the boughs thereof, and all flesh was fed of it. And you know, this tree, it was big, and it had enough leaves, and it had fruit and things of this nature that was for all people, right? But check it out. It says, and I saw in the visions of my head upon my bed, and behold, a watcher, the Holy One, come down from heaven. He cried aloud and said thus, hew down the tree, cut off his branches, and shake off his leaves, and scatter his fruit, and let the beasts get away from under it, and the fowls from his branches. So now this is the Holy One coming down and saying what? Cut down the tree, break off the branches, right? Tear up the fruit. It says, nevertheless, leave the stump of his root in the earth, even with a band of iron and the brass and the tender grass of the field. And it says, let it be wet it says, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let its portions be with the beasts and the grass of the earth. So now the Creator is doing what? Telling him to tear down the tree, but leave the stump. See, leave the stump of the tree. Tear down the branches. Tear down the fruit. Cut down the tree, right? But leave the stump. So he's going to leave the stump, right? Because the stump has what? It has roots in it. So it's not going to be torn down forever. But this tree that is standing before, that is beautiful, that is pleasant to the sight, and all people, all the beasts want to be up under it. It's nourishing the family during that time, right? Or the beasts of the fields during that time. But now the Holy Ones has come and said what? Tear down the tree, but leave the stump. It says, and let his heart be changed from the man's, and let a beast's heart be given unto him. And let 7 times pass over. This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the Holy Ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and set him up over it the basis of men. And what is the basis of man? The basis of men are the most disrespectful people on the face of this planet. So, just because the heathens are in power today, the Creator done gave you a description of who the heathens are. They the most disrespectful people on the face of the planet. They destroy the water, they destroy the food, they destroy the mindset of the people. See? And there's an old saying that if the king is sick, the people are sick. See? So this is why he said that when you tear down the tree, and he's telling the man that basically he's going to have a mindset of an animal. See? He's going to have a mindset of the animal because what? He has made all the other people into animals. See? They animals today. Well, doing back then, they were animals, right? But let's continue to read. This dream our king Nebuchadnezzar have seen. Now thou, O Belteshazzar, declare the interpretation thereof, for as much as all the wise men of my kingdom are not able to make known unto me the interpretation, but thou art able, for the spirit of the holy powers is in thee. See? He's not looking at Abraham's God. He's looking at his God because he's believing that his God put him in power. See? He believed that his God put him in power, and that Daniel is under the influence of his God. See? That he's a prophet that's sent down from the gods of the Babylonians to come and interpret to him what the dream that he has, the terrifying dream that he has had, right? And he's telling Daniel what he saw. But now it's time for it's time for Daniel to tell Nebuchadnezzar the interpretation of the dream. See? And that's just like what's going on here today. When they're talking about The destruction that's going on in this country today, they bring in all their wise men, their soothsayers, their astrologers, right? And who are these people today? It's the church. It's your politicians. It's your activists and things of this nature. They're the modern day soothsayers, the astrologers and people that know about what's going on. But they can't even give the interpretation today. But Daniel today, which represents of the prophets today, they don't want to hear them. See? They don't want to hear us because why? Because see, we the nigger. See, we the niggas today. And the niggas that's under the influence of their teachings, they can't tell you what's going on today. It's because why? They worshiping the system. The system has been what? It has treated them, they live it deliciously. You think T.D. Jakes is going to come up in there and tell Donald Trump, the Republican Party, about what's going to happen in the future, which is now? They're not going to tell them that. It's because why? They're eating off of the system. Your preachers today is not going to be able to interpret what's going on today, brothers and sisters, right? So let's look at this. It says, then Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, was astonished for an hour, and his thoughts troubled him. The king spake and said, Belteshazzar, let not the dream or the interpretation thereof trouble thee. Belteshazzar answered and said, my master, the dream to be them that hate thee, and the interpretation thereof to thy enemies. The tree that thou sawest, which grew and was strong, whose height reached unto heaven, and the sight thereof to all the earth, whose leaves were fair, and the fruit thereof much, and in it was meat for all, under which the beasts of the field dwelt, upon whose branches the fowl of the heavens had their habitation. It is thou, O king, that art grown and become strong, for thy greatness is grown, and reaches unto heaven, and thy dominion to the end of the earth. So he's telling them that the tree that has grown and has become a great tree with all the fruit and all the beasts of the field and the fowls of the air, they want to sit up under the tree. That's the Babylonian mystery system. See? That's you, Nebuchadnezzar. And this is what the preachers today supposed to be telling the Euro-Gentile world power system. But they not telling them that. It's because why? They're eating off of the leaves. They're eating off of the fruit, right? Because the fruit and the leaves is symbolic of what? The materialism that's in the earth and all the wealth that the country, the materialism of the country and the wealth that the country has given to them. See? That's what the fruit and the leaves represents. It says, and whereas the king saw a watcher and a holy one coming down from heaven and saying, hew the tree down and destroy it, and leave the stump of the roots thereof in the earth, even with a band of iron and the brass and the tender grass of the field, and let it be wet with the dew of heaven, and let his portion be with the beasts of the field till 7 times pass over. So what is he telling them? That your kingdom is going to be destroyed. right? It's because you was brought on the scene to chasten the nation of Israel and destroy the mindset of the whole planet. And you have fulfilled your lot. It's because really you're one of the beasts that came up out of the sea. And now, Nebuchadnezzar, that your kingdom is going to be destroyed, but a new kingdom is going to come on, and it's going to do the same thing that you did before it, right? So it says, this the interpretation. Did I read that? This is the interpretation, O king, and this is the decree of the Most High, which is come upon my master the king. So what was he telling him? He was telling him that the Creator is going to judge him. It's because you didn't bring forth righteousness and justice upon the earth. You brought on the scene terror and destruction. Your terror and destruction, you deemed as it being righteous. It's because you saw all the people before you doing this. The Creator empowered you with the power to rule the earth in righteousness, and you didn't do that. See? But in actuality, the Creator didn't empower him to do it in righteousness. The Creator empowered him to do it in unrighteousness. Is because why? It's because he was brought on the scene to chasten the nation of Israel. And that's indicative of today. I mean, that's indicative of yesterday, and that's indicative of today. See, the world today don't even understand, the Americans today doesn't even understand why they're in power. Why you have control over the natural resources of the planet. Why when you say something, the people listen. It's because the Creator empowered you. But now the Creator is telling the modern day Americans that what? He's going to cut down her tree. And he's going to scatter her fruit. And he's going to break off her branches and scatter her leaves. It's because America was brought on the scene for destruction. See? She was brought on the scene for destruction. The reason why she's in power is because she chastened the nation of Israel. She set up a prison for the nation of Israel. And she represents the final vestige of the Babylonian mystery system. That's what she represents today. It says, it says that they shall drive thee from man, and thy dwelling place shall be with the beasts of the field. And they shall wet thee with the dew of heaven. And 7 times shall pass over thee, till thou know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of man, and giveth it to whomsoever he will. And whereas they commanded to leave the stump of the tree roots, thy kingdom shall sure. It says, thy kingdom shall be sure unto thee. And after that thou shalt have known the heavens do rule. Wherefore, O king, let my counsel be acceptable unto thee, and break off thy sins by righteousness, thy iniquities by showing mercy to the poor, and if there be lengthening of thy tranquility. So he's telling him, he's saying, look, Creator can bless you if you do righteous to the poor, right? If you do good by the poor, the Creator will bless you. See? And this is what the Creator was telling America. He's telling America to do basically the same thing. But see, she's not going to do that. See? She's not going to do it because of what? Arrogancy. That's why she's not going to do it. Because she's arrogant. She don't respect human life. She don't respect human beings. She don't respect the planet. They know that oil that we're using to put in cars is destroying the planet. But what is Donald Trump saying? Drill, baby, drill. And now the Democrats are saying it too. It's because the Democrats is lying to the people and saying that they're going to get rid of petroleum and things of this nature, but they know that they work for the big-time investment bankers and things of this nature. They don't have no power. So the same dude that Nebuchadnezzar was wet with is the same dude that the American system is going to be wet with because the sins of our ancestors and the sins of the Babylonian mystery system. So with that being said, peace, shalom, death to America.